Mark, is it the nation state that's controlling the political agenda, or is it forces beyond and higher than the nation state?
Well, that's an interesting question. We're going to talk about the Pritzker Forum on Global Cities again. I'll mention a few UK columns ago, I reported on the Ukraine Recovery Conference that was held in London, and there was very little, if any, mainstream legacy reporting on a huge conference involving the PM of your country and officials and corporate high flyers from around the world. An amazing dearth of information, however that's done. But one of the things that was evident there was that the cities within Ukraine were going to be seen as global cities. Now, going back to that first slide there, the Pritzker Forum on Global Cities got moved to later in the year. This is the premier global cities forum in the world, the most visible one. And it was going to be earlier in the fall. Now it's been moved to November 13 through 15. Just a quick update on that. Pritzker is the well-known influential Jewish family out of the greater Chicago area. J.B. Pritzker is the governor of Illinois, a very influential family. They run a major hotel chain, Hyatt. And so they're very influential in the public and private sectors. That's what the name Pritzker is about. But anyway, harnessing AI tools for urban leaders, as we're seeing here, is the main theme of the Global Cities Forum to be held in Chicago in mid-November. Artificial intelligence, it says, is reshaping our world. It can help effectively deliver social services, identify workforce trends and necessary skills, and provide localized climate predictions. Oh, how handy. But without ethical and transparent use, AI can easily exacerbate inequalities, intensify surveillance, and imperil democracy. There's a little bit of truth there. What do you know? Anyway, that's why from November 13 through 15, 2023, the Pritzker Forum on Global Cities will host Harnessing AI Tools for Urban Leaders. So this is the focus. Do not miss the opportunity to build a global community and connect with policymakers, practitioners, and private sector stakeholders. Join us as we explore cities where AI is already working for the common good. Okay, I'd like to see some demonstrations of that, and so on. And this is a little bit about the Chicago Council on Global Affairs, but note the part that I circled at the top with a question mark. The 2023 in-person Pritzker Forum, in person now. They got out of this virtual thing they were doing during the extended COVIDocracy. It's invitation only. Now, that's the first time I've seen invitation only, and I've been covering this since 2016. The Chicago Council kicked off its Global Cities programs in earnest in 2015. I picked it up in 2016. Never before has it been private, only for invitation only attendees. But I think, in my estimation, this is just my gut feeling, they're getting wind that they're getting some criticism. I've been contributing a lot to that. The most recent AV conference that UK column was involved in, I did a whole section on global cities and smart cities, among others, that day. And so I think they might feel the heat, and they don't want any unwelcome questions or questioners at their forums anymore. But anyway, a little bit more miscellaneous here. There's also a center on global cities at the Chicago Council. It says here they elevate global cities as central actors, shaping world affairs and advancing city-based solutions to global challenges. And as I've said, the Global Cities movement is about giving cities extraordinary, really extra constitutional authority to step beyond their authorized powers and meddle and get involved in global and national policies that is really outside their lane, outside their purview, outside their authority. So it really invests cities with unnecessarily broad and improper authority. That's one of the main problems. And then they'll network the cities together, independent of the nation states that they reside in geographically, and do kind of a bottom-up rather than top-down globalism. That's what it's all about, and they call it glocalism. Anyway, we could talk about a little more here. The CCGA, the Chicago Council, has influence that transcends national borders. The Chicago Council on Global Affairs is a leading center for studying the influence of cities in solving global challenges and shaping the world's future. Note that language. With over a decade of research and programming on global cities, the Council examines the policies needed to be successful, identifies global best practices, connects leaders, and provides concrete recommendations to decision makers. They're really involved in decision making much more than they'll let on. They fudge that quite a bit. But anyway, that's the main developments. That's one of the main forums on global cities. It's been moved later in the year, and now they're going private. They don't want any unwelcome guests there, which is unfortunate because otherwise I'd already be there. I'd already plan on being there, that is. So we're going to have to figure out another way to approach that. Maybe some video footage will be available after the fact. We'll just have to wait and see.
Okay, Mark, thank you very much for that. And a little bit of a coincidence, I got an email that came in this morning. Have a look at this. Welcome to ARC. This is from a lady called Kathleen. Good morning, Brian. Have you heard about this? Sounds like a good opposition to the World Economic Forum. Regards to you and the team. Now I'm going to say thank you to that lady for sending me this. I had no idea what this organisation was, so I went looking. What it is, ARC, is the Alliance for Responsible Citizenship, and it's been established apparently as an international community with a vision for a better world where every citizen can prosper, contribute, and flourish. And I have to say, the more text I read, the more uncertain I was becoming about this particular organisation. I went to have a look at people. I always do this. Go and have a look at the people and have a look at their backgrounds and what they're doing. And what I was amazed to find is that this organisation has many of the people that are funding and supporting GB News. But who are they? Well, these are certainly people who are involved in large amounts of money, hedge funds. Many of them have got the stamp of global elite on them. That's what I would say. That's a personal opinion. But we had Jordan Peterson in amongst them, and he has a very good reputation. But I got an uneasy feeling about what this organisation was really doing. And we will dig deeper and report more in due course. Now, another email that came in was to do with the imprisonment of pregnant women. This is from a lady called Anne, and she says, "Dear Brian, I was sent this out of the blue. I cannot understand any human beings letting this happen. I remember that Melanie Shaw wrote to me about a woman in a cell next to hers who had a miscarriage of twins one night after being given a routine anti-pregnancy pill, and the woman was left on her own." And this was a very poignant message because I also remember Melanie talking about that. But what the lady linked through to was this change.org campaign, End the Imprisonment of Pregnant Women. And you can find the main petition here. And this is particularly distressing subject, and I think people really need to reflect on whether we should have pregnant women giving birth in some pretty dire circumstances in our prisons. But that also interfaced with how I've been feeling this weekend, because I've been talking to a couple who've had their babies taken shortly after birth by the UK state. And I just want to show people the situation in UK, because I cannot name the couple. I cannot name the babies. I cannot name the local authority. I cannot show evidence in the documentation being circulated in the case. I cannot name the experts who arranged against the parents, nor can I expose their callous reports. I cannot enter the court, nor can the public, nor can the media. And the family court is secret. There's no jury, and the judges are power unto themselves. So I cannot tell you, the audience for UK Column, what my concerns are about this case, but perhaps you can see from the fact that we've got a secret court operating. We are in dangerous territory. And we've just dropped on screen a key part of this case, where there's a suggestion that if babies are adopted, the parents might be able to see them once or twice a year, perhaps for an hour or two. Think what that would do to your mind, your mental health as a parent. But this is the reality.
And as a child, I mean, this is not in the interest of the children at all.
It's not in the interest of the children. It can be in some cases, and we have to recognise that. But the key point here is that the parents are being taken away from the children. And I just want to mention this organisation. I've spoken about Cafcass many times over a great many years, but I encourage people to go and have a look at them. What better place to start than their annual report and accounts? Notice that it's in cartoon style, but they assure us they're doing a really good job. But some really important information came out in this document. If we think back to April 2021, Cafcass staff needed to support children in 26% more cases in family proceedings than before the pandemic in March 2020. That represented an increase of around 13,000 individual children, taking us to 38,185 open active children's cases, the highest in Cafcass history. So this quasi-government organisation, which also interfaces with the very cruel contact centres where mums and dads may see their children for a few minutes or a couple of hours, Cafcass working together with many of those organisations with a memorandum of understanding. And we now can see the scale of these tragic court cases happening across the country, where, as I say, no jury present, no public present, no press present. This is UK, not the Soviet Union, apparently.
The secrecy is of huge concern, and the juries would fix this, because if it was a case that no family would lose their children unless a jury of their peers considered it was right that should be done, then the danger of overreach by the state would be largely eliminated, because we could trust the good sense of 12 or 15 people from the society in which we live, much more than we can trust the state, the organisations and the judges operating in secret.
Yeah. Okay, well, Mark, we're going to come back to you on the